Hello, hello.
Good evening. Welcome to Sunday Night Satsang with John and Michelle.
Hi, everybody.
Yes, welcome. Thank you for taking some time out of your weekend, your long weekend for those in South Africa, to join us tonight and share your energy with this sacred group that we have going here. So thank you for joining us. We like to know who we're talking to, so if you can just type your name in there and say hi. Let us know where you're from if you're not a regular. We also like to know where in the world we're reaching. That's really good. And talking of reaching in the world, it really helps if you press the like and the share button. By sharing it, it really does radiate the live call out into the ethers.
Into the ethers,
yeah.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah, so tonight we're going to be looking at the space between worlds. And there's a lot of people who are feeling some sort of disconnect from the old world and wondering where the new world is. Yeah. So we're going to be addressing that dilemma at the moment, which is creating a lot of angst in people's lives. And Michelle, you're going to share a little bit of astrology?
I've got a new moon coming up, but I won't go into them too much detail, but I'll give a little bit of an energetic update. The 4th.
Okay.
4 days' time.
So
we're heading towards it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Good, and the new moon then is time of planting stuff again,
seeds.
So I can go and put stuff in the garden. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Yeah. All right, well, welcome. Lovely to see you all tonight. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to start out, as we normally start these satsangs, with a centering meditation. And meditation quite simply means just clearing the mind. It's just wiping away the stories that we've been telling ourselves all day long. And just connecting with that real essence of being, of presence within us. It really does help reduce the level of stress. So I highly recommend meditation.
Yeah, especially now.
My goodness
times,
me.
I don't think there's ever been a more important time for us to go into that quiet zone, which kind of resets us.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people it feels like a spoon has been put inside the head and stirred and all this stuff is there. So meditation is about reconnecting with life. So let's just do that, shall we? Shall we settle back in our chairs, make quite sure you've got some cushions, that you made arrangements that you won't be disturbed for a little while. And you might like to take a deep breath in and a beautiful long releasing breath out, and gently close your eyes and sink down into your body. I know for a number of people, they look to the spiritual world as something out there, something to be sort of strived for in the top right-hand corner of the room. No. Your body is the portal into your higher dimensions. So it's actually, when we focus on bringing ourselves down into the body and back into the present moment. And with our eyes gently closed, we focus on our eyelids. We focus on any pictures we can see behind our eyelids. We become more alert, more aware. Meditation is not about drifting off. It's actually becoming more aware to what is in this moment, what's presenting itself, more awake. And so we just focus for a moment on our eyelids and we see how heavy they are. We focus on any pictures we can see, any colors, any shapes behind our eyelids. And we take a very, very deep breath in, slowly drawing the air through your nostrils all the way down your body, perhaps blowing your tummy up like a big ball, and then that long releasing breath out, making the out breath twice as important as the in breath. Take a second, very deep breath in, taking the air right the way down to your toes this time. And then that beautiful long surrendering breath out, and just relax your shoulders as you let go of the breath as well. Take a third deep breath in, right down to your toes once more, filling your whole body up. And then as you relax and as you release the breath, just smooth away the worry lines that you have on your forehead. Just relax down into the present moment and just focus on the here and now. Release your mind from its attachments to time, to yesterday, to tomorrow, all its judgments, its preferences, and just center yourselves down onto the chair that you're sitting on. Just become aware of the sensations coming into your body from the chair that you're sitting on. Become aware of your feet, where your feet are pressing right now. Become aware of where your hands are pressing right now, where they're resting. And just bring your attention to the tip of your nose and just focus on that gentle flow of the breath in and out of your body. That beautiful rhythmic flow of life. It's called the breath of life. We don't have to force it. Life knows exactly how to breathe us. It's been doing it since the moment we were born. It even does it, believe it or not, when you're sleeping. This intelligence called life knows how to breathe you. So in this moment, we just hand over this process called breathing to life, and we just allow the rhythm of life to breathe us. But we bring our attention to the tip of our nose, and we monitor the in-breath and the out-breath. So we stay supremely focused on the breath, becoming aware maybe of the temperature change in the nostrils between the in-breath and the out-breath, and the out-breath and the in-breath. Paying attention, though, to the slight pause between the two. That stillness. We become aware of our surroundings through what we can hear. We become aware of all the sounds we can hear. We have a bird singing to us in the garden. What can you hear right now? You don't necessarily have to label anything, you just become aware. And if you stretch your hearing to hear the furthest sounds, you find that enhances the stillness within you, the quietness within you. For in order to truly listen, we have to become quite empty inside. So just listen with alertness, as if it was 2-3 o'clock in the morning and you hear a sound and you awaken, and you really listen. Listen with your whole body. Become hyper alert. We have a chorus of dogs right now. So we're aware of the breath and the breathing. We're aware of listening. We're aware of the chair we're sitting on. We're aware of our feet and our hands. We've smoothed away the worry lines on our foreheads and we've relaxed our shoulders. As we sit here, just in your mind, without opening your eyes, just become aware of the room that you're in. Become aware of the furniture that occupies the space of the room. Become aware of the chair you're sitting on, and maybe you're sitting at a desk. Maybe you have a computer or a laptop or a cell phone with you. We have a lit candle. We have incense burning. And we have lamps. In our room there's a bookcase. What do you have in your room? We have some crystals. We have some affirmation cards. We have a carpet. What do you have in your room? Just make this an exercise of memory right now, so keeping your eyes closed as you do this exercise. And all the furniture make up your room. They're yours. Now gradually, one by one, bring your attention to each one of those items that you brought to mind. And imagine if you were moving out of wherever you are and the furniture people arrived to take the stuff away. And one by one, each of those items was slowly removed from the room that you're in. So in our case, the desk would go, the computer would go, the bookcase would go, the ornaments would go, carpet would go, pictures on the wall would go, even the chairs we're sitting on would go. And eventually the room would be completely empty. Completely empty. And the only thing left in the room that you're in right now would be the space. Let's take a moment just in our awareness to honor this space. The space of the room that we're in. It holds all the stuff, but we don't generally pay it much attention. So in this moment, just become aware of this beautiful space. Now think about yourself. Who is yourself? What is yourself? Well, yourself is a body, got a couple of arms and legs, possibly a bit of hair on your head, if you're lucky. You've got clothes on, but you've also got other stuff like relationships, maybe careers, maybe children, maybe even grandchildren, maybe parents. Maybe you have certain beliefs about the divine, religion maybe. Maybe you have certain accomplishments. Maybe you have a name. Now those furniture removal people are here and they are able to actually remove all of those things that you would associate as self. They remove your name, your accomplishments, your gender, remove any thoughts, any beliefs you have about life, about religion, about history, about lineage, about culture. They remove relationship, any sense of roles that you play in life. And gradually you find your body dissipating as well. Arms, legs, torso, head. And there's just a point of awareness left in this room. In the empty space of this room there is awareness. This awareness that occupies the body, that occupies the story of your life, that occupies the room that you're in, is who you really are. And it's just space, empty space, no form. It's eternity. Cannot be violated in any way. It's supreme. It's divine. This space is what looks through your eyes. But it is not the eyes. This space, this awareness, listens, but is not the ears. This space is aware of the chair, but it is not the chair. This awareness is the I, the true I am. And it can never, ever be threatened. It's not subject to time. And it can add nothing to it to make it more fulfilled, for it is already complete. This is who you are. Now let's gently take a very deep breath back in to our body, which has been returned. And we become aware once more of the physical form and all the furniture we have in the room. We give thanks for that awareness, the awareness of pure presence that we are. And having discovered this, possibly we now choose to live our lives more aligned with this awareness, rather than on the things of life. For it's the things that imprison us, it's the things that give us fear and anxiety and regret. The pure awareness that we really are knows none of that. So now take another very deep breath into your body, right down to your toes and to the top of your head, blowing yourself up like a big ball, and then a beautiful, long, relaxing, releasing breath out, letting it all go. And gently, when you're ready, you may open your eyes. Good evening, everyone.
Thanks, John. That was lovely. Thank you. Welcome.
Oh, thank goodness I returned the chairs.
Something in the phone.
On the phone. Yeah.
We wouldn't be sitting here.
Be sitting here, yeah.
Thank you for bringing us back to that.
Okay.
So
Right.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. Thanks for the hearts that we see filling our screen up.
Yeah, thank you
It's
for
lovely.
the hearts.
So we're going to be talking about a slightly strange subject, the space between worlds. And it's obviously kind of aligning with what's going on planetary-wise. So I'll give you a quick update on that. So we've moved into Scorpio season, which is when the sun goes through Scorpio every year, around about this time, for a month. Every year, it's a cycle. Life's a cycle. I think when we realize that, that's a very big realization, that everything comes and everything goes. And there's these cycles of existence and there's different cycles that move through us. And it sort of helps us to release the attachment to something happening only once. There's always new cycles. And we're in a very strange kind of limbo point in one of these cycles. So we're going to talk about that tonight. But the energy of this week, we've got a new moon coming up on the 4th of November, and that's in Scorpio. So sun and moon in Scorpio, accompanied by the planet Mars, which kind of activates the Scorpio energy. And then those two are also lined up with Saturn and Uranus, which I've been talking a lot about. So I'll give you a little bit more info on in my podcast or my video during the week. But pertinent to this today, this is a waning cycle. And a waning cycle is before new moon, where we're actually releasing. You can almost see it as you weeding your garden. You're taking out what is no longer necessary so that your soil's ready to plant a new crop. That's what a waning moon cycle is. And then we plant new seeds on new moon. So we're in that waning cycle at the moment. It's in Scorpio. Scorpio is a fixed water sign, which is really about, I see Scorpio is a very intense sign. So generally around about this time, people feel quite intensely. Very often there's a lot of stuff that's coming up emotionally. It's a water sign, emotionally from the depths, from the subconscious. Those old patterns, those old behaviors, those old sort of pain body responses. It's a cycle. It tends to come up round about now. So it's just to be aware that things might be a bit more intense than usual. We've apparently also got a lot of solar flares yesterday and today. And I think that's leading people to feel quite tired. We're going to talk more about that. But really, this is a time, I see Scorpio probably in maybe a different way to what other people see it. But if I see Scorpio as an analogy for Scorpio, Scorpio is fixed water. And if you think about what is fixed meaning in astrology means sustainable, enduring. It's sort of a holding energy. And water in astrology is related to emotion. So this is very much a time, a month, a week, for us to hold energy, to hold space, where things might not be moving very fast, but to actually hold a space for whatever is underneath the surface to rise up to the surface, for whatever is underneath the surface to be under the surface. So it's a holding space for whatever is there without necessarily trying to mix it up and move it on. So really that's the energy that I'm getting for leading up to the new moon and the Scorpio activity. And then just another one sort of thing about Scorpio, it's the planet of transformation. Not the planet, sorry, the sign. So when we move through these times, as John sort of took us in our opening meditation, it's very much like the metamorphosis cycle. And it intensifies at this time of the year. And the metamorphosis cycle, as we've spoken about before, is that little caterpillar that becomes a caterpillar gunk in the cocoon or in the chrysalis. And there's that moment or those moments or those days or however long it is where that caterpillar is not a caterpillar anymore. And it's also not a butterfly. It's in the state of transformation. And that's the energy of Scorpio, is transformation, death, rebirth, regeneration. The old dying so something new can be reborn. And this is why we're talking about this theme tonight. So it's a little bit more about astrology. And obviously I'll give you more on the new moon.
So can we expect to be stung this month?
No, not necessarily. That's just a very sort of top line.
Scorpios sting?
Not at all. They can. They can. Scorpions sting sometimes. If you stand on them, hurt them. They'll probably nab you on the ankle.
So don't go around standing on
I got bitten by one
once.
once, and it was very sore.
No, they don't bite, they sting you.
Well, what they ever did, it nailed me on my foot. I stood on it, I stood on it. The poor thing was protecting itself.
Yeah.
So Scorpio, the lower region or the lower vibration of Scorpio is the scorpion, which if you hurt it or you do something to disturb it, it might sting you, it might kill you. That's the vengeful level of Scorpio. Then one up from that, we have the eagle, the all-seeing eagle. So it's the observer planet, and the observer energy of being able to look down and see what's going on, and if you need to strike, if you need to land. So that's the all-seeing eagle, which is another energy of Scorpio. It's very, very, it's got keen observation. It can see what needs to be changed, can see what's dead. It can see what needs to be let go of. So that's the observer. And then there's a third level, which is the peace dove, the dove of peace. And some people see the third level as the phoenix rising from the ashes. So the peace dove would be that you're above all of it, basically. You're not involved in any drama. You're not reacting. You're just holding a very peaceful, very high soul space. And that is what people don't realize about Scorpios. Because they think that all Scorpio is going to sting you.
Yeah, so basically if you don't get stung this month, then you're going to be given the opportunity to see a bigger picture.
Yeah.
And ultimately...
Or maybe even if you do get stung.
Yeah, I think getting stung somewhere...
Maybe you'll see a bigger picture. Because this kind of energy that we're going through, it's transformational. This is a part of a much, much, much bigger theme. So it's not just this Sunday, the 31st of October, which happens to be the day of death as well. There's a Mexican ceremony that sees it as the date of death. It's the day my mom died, actually.
Yeah.
This day.
Yeah.
So hello, Lulu, wherever you are, Mom. So really, this is about there is a sense of the old dying. I've got a really good quote that I want to read from Eckhart about that.
Okay.
And the new hasn't been born yet. So this is part of a much bigger cycle. And the other element of Scorpio is that it's often associated with power. You know, what is power? Power versus force. It's also, as I said, it's intense. It's intense energy. So how do we navigate it? Is the question. And this doesn't only apply to this week.
Yeah. So then it's the energy of seeing the bigger picture, which is something I like, and then also transcending. It's transcendence, or the phoenix rising up from the ashes and something new being born. So it's quite an opportune
and not
time,
knowing
isn't
what
it?
that new is going to be. So surrendering to the process of what might be dying and what might be born in future, because we don't know.
Yeah.
And at this point, very few people know. Very few people can say, yep, this is what we're going to do. Definitely, it's definite. That's the future. You never can anyway. We think we do. We generally don't know what the future holds. So it's a place of, it's kind of that unknowing place.
Yeah.
It's very much that chrysalis inside the chrysalis.
That's right.
Where things are busy dissolving around you.
Yeah. And then tonight being Halloween, that's a sort of connection with the world between life and death, isn't it? Eh?
Yeah, it's the honouring of the departed, honouring of different layers, different realms, connecting maybe. Some people say that they connect more at this time of the year to people that have passed on. And new moon, there's often the veil's a bit thinner, so we can actually connect a little bit more as well. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you for that update.
So that gives us a little bit of a, just energetically, to see what we're actually experiencing. And the feedback I'm getting from people in my life and people around me is that people are tired. Many, many people are feeling tired. They're feeling almost like we've been at war, which we probably have on one level. And they're battle weary. They don't know what their next move is. And they feel almost like they're in limbo.
Yeah.
It's that limbo state of, I'm not here and I'm not there. I'm here, but I don't know where I'm going. And I can't really make sense of it. I can't analyze it. I can't strategize it. I can't understand it. I want to understand it and I can't understand it.
And this space between worlds is very confusing for the mind, because the mind lives on the horizontal plane. It lives in time. It lives with past and with future. Past identifying it, and future giving it its sense of meaning in life. Without future, the mind has no sense of meaning in life. And so we're between those at the moment, because the past is, there's a huge amount of history that's being turned on its head right now. If you look at some of the stuff that's being revealed at the moment about our history. And the future really does seem to be very unpredictable at the moment. There are certain projections, but no one, as you said, no one really knows where we're going. And then there's that space between the past and the future. And that space between the two worlds we know of as the present moment. And that's the vertical plane. And for the mind, it's scary, because the vertical plane has nothing to offer the mind. It has no future. It has no identity, has no structure. And so that's really terrifying for the mind. And this time that we're going through is an opportune time, excuse the word time, to actually find what part of us is scared, what part of us is anxious, what part of us is uncertain. Because that's the part of us that possibly we have to let go of the identification with. As we did in the opening meditation, it's a case of letting go, releasing all those things that we've held on to for a sense of me. I am what I do, I am what I have, and I am what other people think of me. That's the way the mind normally works. But this time that we're going through now, where there's so much uncertainty on the horizontal plane of time, is a good opportunity now to find that essence of being that you are, that is not threatened by the uncertainty in time, not threatened by past being not as solid as we thought it was, and definitely not threatened by an uncertain future. In fact, we can find this essence of being, this essence of presence, which is our true I am awareness, probably easier now at this time than any other time. And they say that it's easier to wake up from a nightmare than a comfortable dream. And so we'd like to talk a bit about this space between the worlds at the moment, because the old world is crumbling. And Michelle started speaking about that 2 years ago when she was looking at astrology, weren't you? You were looking at Saturn and
Pluto.
Saturn and Pluto, that's right. And that was definitely, you were predicting a crumbling of the old structures.
Yeah, Saturn being the structures and Pluto being demolition of those.
Yeah. So
that was what was happening in January 2020.
Yeah.
So Astrology is energy and we respond to it. That's all. It doesn't cause anything to happen.
No.
But that was what we could see was going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's what's been happening.
Yeah.
And so much of the old that we've always held to be true and real and secure is turning out not to be. Much of the information that we've been taught and given, it's turning out not to be true.
And even the authorities that we used to get,
the authorities that we used to trust.
Trust for information. I mean, we used to trust the medical profession, for example. And I don't know about you, I've never trusted politicians, but an awful lot of people seem to be trusting them with their lives right now.
Yeah, no, I haven't trusted them
no. So, I think we have to look at where we put our trust, and I would suggest that we don't put it on the things of the world anymore. We don't put it on that horizontal plane. You know, the Hopi poem, which I used to quote from, says, don't look outside of yourself for truth. Don't look outside of yourself for leaders. Find that truth within you. So this place between the worlds is very much an opportune time for finding that. But sorry, I interrupted you. You wanted to say something?
No, it was just that basically it's when we're squeezed, when we feel squeezed, when we can no longer trust what we believe that we could trust before, when we don't have a sense of future, we realize that the past is gone. We get squeezed and we actually go deeper. We go deeper into our own beingness, because that's the place that makes most sense. Not head sense. It's the place it's the only place.
Yeah.
Actually. So that's the other element of this, is that it's not all just bad and terrible. It's supposed to be happening. And I think if we can bring awareness and acceptance to that, to know that this is supposed to be happening, otherwise it wouldn't be. And we signed up for this, otherwise we wouldn't be here. So that goes a long way to actually being able to navigate it with grace, rather than saying, this sucks, this is terrible, I hate it, which is actually really disempowering for us. So it's to really look at, and I said that 2 years ago, looking at new ways of working with power. What is power? It's not force. So what is power? And in the past, it's always been, out there. It's been perceived as, if I'm powerful, I'm going out there. It's an outward thing. And we're going to talk about that in a space group this month. But basically, what is true power? And this is very much a Scorpio theme, which is why we're working with it. There was a beautiful quote by Eckhart. We've actually got it on our website, which really explains this, that John and I wanted to just share with you. Many people, so this is from Eckhart Tolle, many people who are going through the early stages of the awakening process are no longer certain what their outer purpose is. What drives the world no longer drives them. Seeing the madness of our civilization so clearly, they feel somewhat alienated from the culture around them. Some feel that they inhabit a no man's land between two worlds. They no longer run by the ego, yet the rising awareness has not yet become fully integrated into their lives. Inner and outer purposes have not merged. And for me, that says it all. We're actually in this mid-state. And we, as human doings, most of us, don't like being in that state. We want to be achieving, we want to be planning, we want to be hoping, we want to know what's going on and what's going to happen and how it's going to plan out. I get asked that so often in readings. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? When's this going to be over? And whenever we do that, which is a very human thing to ask, we're actually missing the moment. Because we're placing our attention on when's it going to be over, which means that we're resisting this. As opposed to saying, well, what could possibly be being revealed right now on a soul journey that we're learning?
Yeah. It's rather like driving a car. If you drive a car, a manual car, and you have to change gears, you can't go straight from one gear straight into another gear. You have to go through something called neutral. So what you do is you have to put your foot on the clutch and you have to release the old gear, and then you select the new gear, and then you can take off in that new gear. But that process of changing gear requires going into neutral. And I feel that this is where we're at right now, going into this field of neutrality, the same as maybe a caterpillar that goes inside the chrysalis. It can't just transform into a butterfly. What actually has to happen, it has to go into neutrality. And what happens there is the caterpillar's body completely dissolves. A new genealogy takes over. And it has to go through that process of surrendering, of letting go of the old world crumbling completely before the new gear can be selected, before the new form can be connected. And, you know, the caterpillar has no idea about a butterfly. It doesn't know that that's its potential. It doesn't know anything about flying at all. It knows nothing about wings. They're completely foreign to the world of the caterpillar. And that's the process we're going through. The new earth that is on the horizon is being born out of something that we can't even begin to imagine from where we stand today. Yes, I believe it is more beautiful. Yes, I believe it is more heart-centered. Yes, it is more sustainable. Yes, it is a place where probably the word work will disappear from our vocabulary in that. But it's something that we can't today, where we're sitting right now, can't even begin to conceptualize with the mind, because the mind really only knows past. It knows the story in the past. We don't even have the right words or the right reference frames for the new earth as it's going to be born. But one thing I do know is that we have to let go of the old in order to be in the right space for the new to be birthed through us, because that's what's happening. So that's what we'd like to just talk briefly about, is what is the space that is spoken of, the space between worlds? What is the space between the old solid 3D and 4D dimensions of the world as we know it and the universe as we know it, and what is possibly arising on the horizon, which is something completely different? What is the space between?
Mm. And how do you access that space, and are you comfortable in that space or uncomfortable in that space? Because most of us are not comfortable in that space, because we define ourselves by our doing and our achieving and our seeking. And many of us liked to call ourselves seekers. I did, John did as well. I prided myself on that, because I was seeking. I was a seeker. I was always interested in the new,
in the future,
and the something, sort of almost reaching for something else, for being more enlightened, for being better, for being higher, in my beingness or whatever it was. And even searching for enlightenment, even trying to move towards enlightenment is seeking, which means that you are leaving who you really are, because you're saying, I'm not good enough in this moment. I need to be better. I need to strive for something better. And when you realize that the striving is just going to lead to more striving, because you're going to get there and then you're going to want something else. And then you're going to constantly be striving. And that's that outer purpose, the way I see it, that Eckhart talks about. Yeah. The outer purpose, which is how we define ourselves by our striving.
By the outer purpose, by the doingness.
Also by very much, I think, by effort. By the effort that we put into that striving. I've got to do it. I've got to really put all my effort into this. And I believe that's what's shifting as well. Yeah. Laurie Ladd mentioned it's like a recalibration, and we are energetic. We're electric. So it is like a recalibration. As John said, you can't move straight from neutral into
from one gear
to another gear. So there's a recalibration happening, and it's a nowhere space. Yeah. It's a no thing space, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And it's so the way to look at it, I believe, is that we do define ourselves as efforting beings, and work and effort seem to be one and the same. And so most of us classify ourselves not as human beings, but as human doings. And we value other people in terms of human doings. And the truth is right here, right now. It's so simple to see that we're human beings. And I believe this time of between worlds is to start to honor the sacred essence of who you really are, which is the being part. There's no doing in being. There's no striving in being. There's no future in being. There's no past in being. There's no achievement in being. Being is who we are. But we have overlooked that. We have missed the mark. And, the word for missing the mark is an archery term, and it means to sin. So we have constantly sinned in that we have projected ourselves, as Michelle said, away from the present moment, always striving, always desiring something other than what is. And I believe this is a very opportune time that we're moving through at the moment to start to honor the depth of our true being. So just from a practical point of view, as we wake up in the morning, now there are many people that wake up in the morning and they constantly, the first thing is about what I'm going to do today. And it's all about doing. And as we go through our day, it's all about the next thing. I'm doing this, but it's about the next thing I'm going to do, or where doing this is going to lead me into the next doing this. And when we meet people, we look at them as doings. What can we get from them? What can we give to them? It's about a doing process. And so from a practical point of view, I would suggest that at this time we start to honor the beingness, just beingness. So we open, or we become aware in the morning that we are back in our body. And before we open our eyes, we start to honor the beingness. And we do that with a sense of gratitude, not a sense of, oh my goodness me, I don't know, where I'm going today. No. We acknowledge another beautiful opportunity today to discover more of the magnificence of life. So we approach the day with a sense of being and the sense of gratitude and the sense of joy. And as we move through our day, whenever we catch ourselves, and it takes one conscious breath to come back to this, just one breath taken with full awareness, and we realize again, beingness, beingness. And so we start to honor beingness with more of our attention. Now, there's a law in the universe, and that is that whatever we put our attention on expands. So this is a time, I believe, of investing more of our attention in our beingness and less so much in our human doingnesses. And that will expand and grow. And then we will be ready for the birth of the new world as it starts to unfold through us.
And we are more better equipped to deal with, to navigate the difficulties and the challenges from that state of being. And I think a lot of people, I remember when I first started looking at this, there was a kind of a knee-jerk ego reaction, which sort of said, what am I going to do? Just sit around and do nothing. Being a very consistently a doing person for most of my life. And what I realize now, and I'm realizing more every day, is that when the doing comes out of the being, it is better, it's deeper, it's more effective, it's less stressful, and it just arises. The doingness arises out of the beingness, and it's a completely different way of running one's life. I remember waking up in the morning, and I would just, from the minute I opened my eyes, I would be running in my mind and then running throughout the day, because I had a very busy job, and which I defined myself as. And when I think about it now, I can't even imagine what that was like. But I know a lot of people are still in that, where they are run by their doingness. And then when they do have a little bit of time out, there's guilt associated with it. And then there's a justification of why I'm having time out. I'm tired, so I'm allowed to rest. No, you're just allowed to rest. You don't need to be tired. You don't need to have worked hard. Maybe you're just tired. Maybe you're just battle weary. And I think a lot of people are feeling that.
Yeah. I look at smokers, smokers go out and into nature and they light up a cigarette. And smoking is an excuse
Absolutely.
For the mind for you just to be for a few moments. And I say, well, you don't have to do something that poisons your body to honor yourself with a bit of being time.
It's a pause.
You can do the pause without that addictive nicotine or whatever it is, caffeine, because it's another excuse to stop. Just stop and just pause without the excuse. You don't need an excuse. You don't need the excuse, but I've worked so hard, now I can have some time off. Just
don't need
honor
to
your
justify
beingness.
it.
Yeah.
And
Honor
we justify it all the time, don't we? Sorry. And we justify it. I'm allowed to have a rest now because I worked late last night. Why? Yeah. So yeah, I think that's really the theme for now.
Yeah, so I see it as a realization. This is a time of a realization. That means to see with realize. To see with realize what you really are and who you really are. And that was the opening meditation. To see that even if you didn't have your possessions, even if you didn't have your furniture and your clothing and your body, you would still be who you are at your core. You'd still be precious. You'd still be valuable to the universe. So to see with real eyes is to disconnect from your human doingness, from your human thinkingness, and start to honor the sacred essence of being, which is who we all are. And when we start to recognize that sacred essence of being within us, we start to recognize it in those around us. Instead of judging other people according to what they've done or what they should have done, we start to honor them for their beingness. As we start to see that essence of life, that purity within them, the world changes, because that essence of seeing that beingness that you are in the other is called love. That's what love is. And what the world needs more now than anything else is the recognition of love. We don't need to create love. Love is all there is, in fact. But the very recognition of it brings it up into our dimension of our reality, of our awareness. So for us to start to see the beauty in the world around us, for us to start to see the beauty in those that we meet, in the physical form, but also maybe even in nature, to see the beauty that surrounds us. The recognition of beauty within us changes the vibration, the frequency which our bodies vibrate at. And that changes the whole frequency of humanity, because we're built holographically. As you change one part of the hologram, you change the whole. So as we start to change our vibration, as we start to change our awareness, we uplift all of mankind. We open a portal for consciousness to shift. And they say it only takes a square root of 1% to shift, for the whole to shift. It's the 100th monkey syndrome to a certain extent, but it's even more refined than that. So as we change the whole universe. We change our future. And that's what I believe. So it's to honor the space between. And the space between is presence. It's beingness. And as we start to honor beingness rather than doingness, I believe we become a channel for that new world to be born through us. So Gandhi said, you have to be the change you desire to see in the world. And the beingness is the peace. It is the joy. And it is the love. And as we start to give that our attention, that will expand and grow. You know, the old world was very much built on manipulation, on fear and control. And the only thing that experiences fear, and the only thing that can be controlled really, is the mind. And as we start to let go of that mind, we let go of fear, we let go of anxiety, and we let go of the ability to be controlled by others. And then we activate that power. Michelle said that the theme for November in our inner space group, which you're all welcome to join, by the way, for the month, it's about power. We're going to be looking at power this month. What is the power? We have amazing, amazing, amazing power within us. Do you know, if you take one of your atoms, as we learned, and you split it, an unbelievable amount of power comes out of just one of your atoms. And how many atoms do you have? And who are you really? What is the real power that you have? And I believe we've been hypnotized. I believe we've been hypnotized to forget our true power, to believe it's in the forces around us, and it's not. A true power comes from within us, comes from our sense of knowing who and what we really are. So that's really the theme for Inner Space this month, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
So we really value you joining us tonight. And if you have any questions for us, please type them up. We don't answer them while we are live, but we will get to them afterwards. And it also helps us see what themes you would like us to explore in future satsangs.
Yeah, and maybe give us some feedback as to what you feel about this. You know, how you feel, how you've been feeling. Do you feel, how comfortable are you with those fallow times when nothing's happening and the soil's just resting? Can you be okay with that? Can we be okay with not knowing the future? And how comfortable is that for you, and what experiences have you had with that? We'd love to hear from you. This is a community, so it's quite nice to get feedback. So type some comments in there for us.
Yeah.
And if you have themes that you'd like us to cover in the satsangs, let us know that too, and then we'll have a look and see where we can fit that in.
Yeah. And if you'd like more information on our courses and our platforms that we offer, go to journeysofawakening.com, and all the information is there. And I know we've been receiving some inquiries about our next Journey to Freedom course, which starts in January. The bookings aren't open for that yet, so you can't book. But
you can get hold of us and just let us know, we'll put you on the list. Yeah, they'll be open shortly.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to lead us out with a meditation?
Yes, I will certainly do
visualization
that.
meditation.
Okay. All right, let's just settle in. Make yourselves comfy if you're not comfy already. Take a nice, deep, beautiful breath in, all the way in. And then releasing, relaxing out breath. Take another full breath in by expanding your belly, bringing the breath all the way up into your chest, all the way up, and then hold it for a moment and then drop your shoulders and release the breath. And as you breathe out, just allow your body to relax. Allow yourself to just let go. Just observe your breath. No trying to make it do anything or trying to make it deeper or longer. Just observe the breath as it comes in and as it goes out. Feel the breath on your nostrils as it flows in through your nostrils. Feel it as it flows out. Just that. Full attention on your breath. Consciously relaxing your body on each out breath. Softening. And start by softening your head, the little muscles around your eyes, softening the mouth, the jaw, relaxing the jaw, smoothing out those frown lines on your forehead, relaxing your ears, your scalp, your neck, muscles on either side of your neck, leading down to your shoulders. Drop the shoulders even more. Soften your arms and your hands. Just allow your hands to rest. Feel what it feels like to just soften your hands. Bring your attention down through your whole torso, into your hips, your knees, your legs, your ankles, your feet. Just allow your whole body to just be. Allow yourself to be breathed. Allow your body to be as it is right now. If a thought comes into awareness, see if you can just hold a space for that thought, which means just acknowledging it, witnessing it, and allowing it to be as it is until it drifts on by, without attaching to it, without going into any story about it. Just allow yourself to let it go. Connecting with possibly something that's been worrying you or bothering you recently. Bring that to your attention. Notice it. Acknowledge it. And see if you can just let it go. Let it drift upwards, outwards, and away. Bring attention back to your breath. And feel what it feels like to not have that thought. Bring awareness now to something that you define yourself as. Could be a mother, a business person, a seeker, businessman, father, lover, whatever that is. Something that you find yourself often saying about yourself. I am a. Now let's see if on the out breath you can just release that, just for this moment. Let it go. If a feeling arises, it could be a sensation in your body, it could be an emotion. See if you can just observe it and release it when it's ready. Just let it go for now. Allow yourself to empty out, to become an empty space where there's no future and no past. Is this moment right now? Bring attention to something that you really want to know, something that you want to understand. Maybe it's an outcome that you'd like to know what the outcome is going to be, how we get through this, where we're going to end up. Bring that to your focus. Feel what that feels like when you bring that into your awareness. And now imagine, or actually let it go. Just imagine being able to let that desire for knowing go. Saying this week's affirmation, I now give up my need for knowing, and I am at peace. Feel those words. Feel what that feels like. I give up my need for knowing, and I'm at peace. Feel if that's true for you. And allow that peace to just build and grow and expand within you, all on its own. Now to integrate into your body, all through your body, through your being, through your energy body. Feel that peace fill up every cell, every atom, every part of your being. I give up my need for knowing, and I am at peace. And just feel what it feels like to be at peace. And know that you can bring yourself back here over and over by simply connecting with the breath, consciously bringing yourself home, making the choice, the conscious choice to bring yourself back over and over, knowing that this is the place that we feel the most powerful and are the most powerful. now taking a deep, beautiful breath in and out. And another deep breath in and a releasing breath out. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
That was beautiful.
Good.
Beautiful, yeah.
Great.
And talking of that affirmation, which is a lovely affirmation, we'll put it up. It's, I now give up my need for knowing, and I'm at peace. And it's the mind. The mind has a need for knowing. And the reason the mind has the constant need for knowing is because it feels insecure.
Yeah.
Now, there's another way of living your life, and I believe this is really the key to being between the two worlds, and that is the trust. Not trust in the world out there to meet your needs, but trust in life, the intelligence called life. The word cosmos means order. There is order. There is order. And to trust that that energy called life will lead you exactly where you're meant to go. And it will lead this planet exactly where it's meant to go.
Absolutely.
You know, we don't have to worry when we, are making a baby. We don't have to worry about making the kidney or the liver or the lungs. Nature knows how to do that. And so part of this process of being in between the worlds is trust. Trust. Give up the need to know. Give up the need to strategize, and trust that there is a plan. There's a plan for your individual life, and there's a plan for the whole of humanity. And it is unfolding according to that plan at the moment. As scary as it may seem for the mind, it is perfect. It really is perfect. So I'll photograph that. I now give up our need for knowing. I'm at peace. I'll put that up on the Journey's Facebook page, and you can use this affirmation. And thank you for being with us tonight. If you enjoyed tonight, you can send some comments. Please press the like and the share button. That really helps as well. And tell your friends about this. And those of you who are joining us for our Inner Space November, which is Power, we meet up on Tuesday.
It's going to be a powerful month.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Bless
everybody.
you all. Thank you for being with us.
Lots of
Nighty
love.
night. Nighty night.